watching Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you, your fearless leader. Coming up on today's show, we will answer all of your news and rumors mailbag questions. This comes from our live show that we do on Wednesdays, where we answer questions in real time, react to them, whatever you guys have to say on the Hawks. People using hashtag Seahawks or super chatting. We make sure and cover it all here on the program. And you may be wondering, how can I be a part of your next mailbag show? Well, subscribe to Seahawks Today. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. And that way you can join us for the next live show, and we'll answer your questions in real time right here on Seahawks Today. So without further ado, let's get started with our mailbag segment. We begin with a $200 super thanks from John Smith. Bang! By the way, for the folks at home watching, not only is this a lot of money from John Smith, this is a new Chat Sports company record for the largest super thanks ever at Chat Sports, $200. John Smith, a round of applause, my friend. Everybody spam John in the comments. Spam John. Here's his message. He says the following. Hey, guys, I'm hanging out in France again with my wife. Maybe you can read off a nice bonjour to the 12s and my godson Smitty for me on the next live show. Thanks for the nonstop coverage of this offseason and the constant hustle. Go Hawks. John Smith, I love you, my guy. The godfather of Seahawks Today, coming in strong. Much appreciated, my guy. Thanks for supporting the work we're doing. And go Hawks. I agree. Thank you for that $200 super chat, my guy. We'll pay off accordingly. Bob Marley with a question in the mailbag this week. What are your expectations for DK Metcalf this season? Great question, Bob. And I look at DK Metcalf, and I see a guy who has been very consistent. He's played at a high level since the beginning of his career in Seattle. He's coming off a year where he had over 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns, close to 17 yards of reception. And you think about this Seahawks offense, what Ryan Grubb is going to do with this offensive scheme. They're going to pass the football more than they have in quite some time. And you think about this, too, with this Seahawks offense. With him passing the football more, that means more DK, more JSN, more Tyler Lockett, more Noah Fant. Everyone's numbers should go up. DK, in his prime years now, obviously he's been paid a lot of money and everything too. I think quarterback play is going to improve in this system. I think with that, DK is in for the best year of his entire career. And I think DK has the opportunity to be an all-pro, to be a first-team all-pro selection for the first time in his career. I think he's capable of that. I would like to see DK clean up the little stuff, stop with the personal foul shenanigans and all that. But DK, I think, is in for a monster season this year. Let's ask you guys, will DK be an all-pro in 2024? Can he be a first-team all-pro? It's our pinned comment today. You might get an ad break. While that ad's playing, get your votes in. Let us know what you think. Y for yes, N for no. Next question comes from F the Celtics. Ooh, don't let Smitty see that. Was it worth it to pay Leonard Williams all the money he got? So this has been a hot topic among Seahawk fans when it comes to Leonard Williams, that some folks believe that he got overpaid, that he wasn't worth the money that the Seahawks gave him. And the truth of the matter is the Seahawks basically had no choice. When they traded a second and fifth round pick for Leonard Williams, they basically made their bed. They had to accept the consequences of making that deal for Leonard Williams going forward. It didn't matter how much it was going to be, his market value. They had to pay him that money. And you got Leonard Williams right in the thick of the prime of his career, coming off a season where he was very good with the Seahawks. He was the best player in the Seahawks defense for the second half of last year. 5.5 sacks, 10 tackles for loss, 62 tackles, and was a tremendous improvement for Seattle when it came to run defense as well. I don't think that it was a bad idea to pay Leonard Williams. I think you had to do it. You had to stick to your guns, if you will, and pay Leonard Williams that money. I think it was the right call from Seattle to pay Leonard Williams and keep him around, and he's going to be a key piece of this Seahawks defense, I think, for many years to come. Be honest with me. What do you guys think? Do you believe in Leonard Williams? Do you like the fact that he's sticking around for all the money the Seahawks gave him? If you do, type B for believe. If you don't, type D for don't. Weigh in the comment section. Let us know what you think, if you believe in Leonard Williams or not. Yoshi writes in, do you think JSN could have top 5 wide receiver potential? Down the road, I think certainly he can. I would be shocked if he was the top 5 receiver in the NFL in 2024, just the second year of his career and everything. But JSN is very fast. He's a good route runner. He does a good job of getting open in space. We've heard that he's been Geno Smith's favorite target this offseason, that they're on the same page. Sky's the limit for JSN. I don't think he's top 5 right now, but I think down the road, yeah, you're talking about JSN with the potential to be one of the best receivers in the National Football League. I think that's certainly possible a few years from now that he could be top 5. I would be surprised if he was top 5 this upcoming season. Phobia writes, will we ever utilize Kenny McIntosh in the pass game from the backfield? Good question, Phobia. Thanks for that question there. The first step is he's got to stay healthy, and he was not healthy for much of 2023. So as far as he goes, like, it's up to him to get on the football field first. And then from there, yeah, I mean, this is a receiving back. You go back to what he did with the Georgia Bulldogs, helping them win a national title with that team. He was a force to be reckoned with. He was at his best when he was a receiver out of the backfield, when Stetson Bennett was able to use him as a check down target and dump things off to him, right? That's what Kenny McIntosh did really well there at Georgia. And one of the elements of this Ryan Grubb offense is the screen passing game, that it is a substitution for the run game. And as much as I like Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, when healthy, Kenny McIntosh is your best receiving back in that backfield in Seattle right now. So Kenny McIntosh, as long as he stays healthy, he should be a pivotal part of the passing game out of the backfield as a third down back for this Seahawks team. But it's up to him to get on the football field first. Mike writes in, you think we hit the playoffs in year 2 with the new coaching staff? I think kind of your expectations. If you're Mike Macdonald and, you know, the game plan of sorts, the long-term situation for the Seahawks, this year your expectation should be that the Seahawks are a playoff team. That should be the goal, is if Mike Macdonald gets this team into the postseason, if they win 9+ games, that is a successful year. Year 2 is taking that next step. It's getting to be an NFC contender and contending for an NFC title and potentially getting to the Super Bowl. So year 2, yeah, the playoffs, that should be the minimum year 2 for Mike Macdonald and company. Now, you're going to have to figure out the quarterback situation, whether it's moving on from Geno, whether it's bringing in a Dak or a Kirk Cousins, or it's bringing in a rookie, whatever it may be. But year 2, yeah, playoffs should be the minimum for this Seahawks team. Year 2, we should be talking about this team contending for the NFC. 2 more questions in the mailbag this week. Akram wants to know, how will Tyrese Knight play in Macdonald's scheme if Dodson and Baker are both injured for further time? Well, first off, I think Dodson and Baker, they're supposed to be back in time for training camp. So that's good news there. But Tyrese Knight, it's hard to say with a rookie. I think he's going to be an improvement from some of the other guys that we saw in this linebacker room in Seattle, some of the other backups. I think he ought to be better than John Radigan. That ought to be the case. I think he's got to be your number 3 linebacker as far as that goes. But, you know, it's a rookie, and he's a 4th-round rookie at that. He's got to improve in coverage, but there's a lot of good things to like. He's a natural tackler. He's got good speed that he brings to the table. I think Tyrese Knight is going to be fine for Seattle as a rookie, as far as I'm concerned, that he is going to be fine as your number 3 guy. We'll see what happens more than that. But, yeah, I have no reason to think that Knight isn't going to play well. Last question. Seahawks fan for life wants to know, who's a player the Seahawks should trade for? Ooh. That's a very good question. Who is somebody they should trade for? Man, we you know, on this channel over the last couple of weeks, we've talked plenty of, you know, rumors and such. And one guy to keep in mind that I would like to see I would be surprised if they made a trade for him, but don't rule out Kyle Pitts. You put him and Noah Fant together, all of a sudden, this offense is stacked. And I don't think you'd have to give up a ton for Kyle Pitts either. You would have to pay him his second contract. Falcons already took his fifth-year option. If you give up a third-round pick and bring Kyle Pitts in, I would love to see that for Seattle. Subscribe now to Seahawks Today for continuing off-season coverage. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time here on Seahawks Today.